Hi, I'm Humayun and I'm from Islamabad Education Group. In our last lecture, I gave you some information about the tips and the tricks of the Ielts test. In this lecture, we are going to look upon the rest of the techniques of the Ielts test. In our first lesson, we discussed the 4 techniques or the tips of the Ielts test. In this test, I'm going to tell you about the rest of the 8 techniques that we need to keep in our mind before we perform our speaking test. Number 5 in our tips and tricks is maintain a good posture. Maintaining a good posture to some extent can create a very good impression in examiner's mind, and it might give you very good bands depending upon that. My tip towards you is do not lean upon your hand or do not look here and there during your speaking test. Because if you do these kind of activities during your test, it might give an impression to examiner that you are feeling nervous because of some tension or pressure during the test. In our next tip, we need to speak clearly. Need to speak clearly means that you need to work on your pronunciations of the word. You need to work on your accent to some extent. For example, if you are a Spanish person and you pronounce yes instead of yes, so you need to work on that to make it yes for you instead of yes. Number 7 in our tips and tricks is always use descriptive words that will enhance your ability to compel the examiner to give you more bands. I give you a few examples of that. Instead of using sad, you can use depressed. Instead of using good, you can use exceptional. Or instead of using aware, you can use acquaint. So these are the words that can show your personality as more educated and more persuasive towards the examiner to give you extra bands. Number 8, speak up. You need to speak loud, clear, and your voice should be at the standard that examiner can understand you. Not only the examiner's understanding, it is also important for you to record your voice in the recorder, because sometimes in the exam, after the examiner, there is another examiner who checks up your test, that how did you go through your test. So in that case, your recorded voice can help you a lot. So you need to speak loud and higher in your sounds. Number 9 of our tips and tricks is keep a steady pace of your English speaking. Do not make unnecessary voices or do not create unnecessary noises between the sentences. Once you have started a sentence, you should not stop in the middle of that. And you should think before you speak. Number 10 in our tips and tricks. Do not use slang words. Slang words are always not, accepted or appreciated by the examiner. If you want to use a word which is kids, instead of using kids, a more appropriate way is you can use children. If you want to say things, you can say stuff instead of things. On number 11, in our tips and tricks is stay on your topic and stick to the topic always. The best way of doing that is you need to give reasons for your opinions. If you have opted up for an opinion, if you say that this is my opinion about something that examiner has asked you, so you need to give very good reasons and do not unnecessarily explain the reasons. So stick to the topic, tell the reasons and back your topic by not explaining the reasons in front of examiner. Last but not the least, which is the most commonly made mistakes by the Pakistanis, Indians and to some extent Bengalis as well, that we try to memorize the best answers given by the teachers or any English speaking person. So Memorizing the answer can sometimes create ambiguity in the mind of examiner, and his understanding might get disturbed or might get disrupted because of your flow of speaking. So, the flow of speaking, as we have already discussed in number 9, that it is very, very important. That's it. We have all the 12 tips and the tricks discussed here. If you need further information, you can visit us on ieiconsultants.net. Thank you very much.